I feel like I'm doing multiple intros to this, but okay, books. And I'm basically just gonna like mood read. I have so many books that I want to read this month in life. Hi everybody, it's Audrey and welcome back to Chapter and Converse. Today's video is going to be my Spookathon TBR, and in typical Audrey style, I have pulled far more books than there are challenges, and I'm gonna mood read my way through yet another readathon. But this one, obviously, hence the, the spooky title, is very thriller centric, and I have so many thrillers that I want to read. So I pulled a whole bunch. There's a couple randos in here, I think, or at least one rando, because it was even like random to me. When I saw it on my shelf, I was like, wait, what is this again? So we're just gonna jump into like a whole bunch of books and a whole bunch of challenges. So I should probably start with the basics, which is Spookathon is a readathon hosted by Kayla at Books and Lala, and it takes place from October 14th through 20th. I will link her channel down below with her announcement video with all of these details. And like I said, I think I said, there are 5 challenges for this. And this is one of the more low-key, laid-back readathons, which I love. So it's not about like challenges and all this other stuff, and obviously any readathon is whatever you want to do for it is what you do. But she basically gets straight to the point. So 5 challenges. I'm gonna read all of them because a lot of my books apply to a lot of different challenges. So here we go. Challenge number 1 is to read a thriller. Hello, easy peasy. Challenge number 2 is to read a book with red on the cover. Challenge number 3 is to read a book with a spooky word in the title. Spooky word is subjective. Challenge number 4 is to read a book with a spooky setting. Again, subjective. What's spooky to me may not be spooky to you. And challenge number 5 is to read something you wouldn't normally read. This is the one that I'm having a little bit of a challenge with, but she had talked about how you could read like a genre you wouldn't normally read, or maybe format, like if you're an audiobook person, read a book. People always are like, if you don't usually read a graphic novel, but like, I'm not gonna pick up something I wouldn't normally read just for the sake of reading a book. Like I still wanna read stuff I wanna read. So I've got a little something up my sleeve, so we'll see. But let's get into my giant old stack of books and the things that may or may not get read for Spookathon. So book number 1, red on the cover, The Chain. I've talked about this book several times on here. I did finally buy it. This has got all the creepster vibes going on, messed up, dark. The premise of this book is that someone gets a phone call that their child has been kidnapped, and the only way to get your child back is to kidnap another person's child and call them. And when you do that, the kid who was kidnapped before your kid gets released, and the person whose kid you kidnapped has to kidnap a child. So hence the chain of events. This has got to be like the lengths you would go to for your family, talk about pushing morality and making people do horrible things, and to inflict that kind of pain on someone else and the pain you're going through, but what you would do for your child. So I've heard nothing but good things about this. There's lots of good plugs on the back of it. This one sounds crazy fun. More red on the cover. I don't know if I'm pushing the bounds with Vengeful. Is this spooky? Is this thrillery? Is it more sci-fi fantasy? I'm gonna put it on the list because I can. And this is also kind of a book that I might not normally read, but I read Vicious and I liked it. But if I had not read Vicious, it's a sequel, so I wouldn't have read this anyway, but also not something I normally gravitate to. But red on the cover, I definitely want to see where the story goes. I've heard most people that I've watched have given Vicious 5 stars and this one 4, but we'll see. There's new characters in this. I'm curious to still see how it goes. I completely stumbled upon another Victoria Schwab podcast last night. So I was like, oh my God, that's right. I need to read this book. So we'll see. She's on my brain right now. And then more things with red on the cover. Incan Bone by Lisa Unger. This is a book that has also been collecting way too much dust on my shelf for absolutely no good reason. And this also has a creepy atmosphere to it. So this is 20-year-old Finley Montgomery is rarely alone. visited by people whom others can't see, and haunted by prophetic dreams she's never been able to control or understand. All sorts of creepy happening in this one. She winds up going to the Hollows to see her grandmother, who's a renowned psychic. And it sounds like a whole lot of bad stuff is gonna happen. So as Finley digs deeper into the town and its endless layers, she's forced to examine the past, even as she tries to look to the future. Only one thing is clear: the Hollows gets what it wants no matter what. So this sounds all shades of creepy and weird and fabulous. I have not read a Lisa Unger book in like 100 years. I saw her at Thriller Fest this year, and it made me question why on earth I haven't read her in 100 years, because like I said, this book has been on my shelf for a while. So don't ask me what I'm waiting for, because I don't have an answer for you. And then another book, read her lips, kind of. Totally not. Whatever. This can fit 100 other challenges. So Everything You Want Me to Be by Mindy Mejia. This is a book that I picked up also way too long ago at one of those Barnes & Noble, like front table new thriller books. Probably 2 years ago, and it's collecting dust. But April from Getting Hoogie With It read it, and she had great things to say, and Shelby from Shelby Taggart Reads read it, and she had great things to say. So I do really want to read this one. And this is Hattie Hoffman is a good student, but she was something more, and she is found brutally stabbed to death. And then we start to dig into her past, and it comes to light that Hattie was engaged in a highly compromising and potentially explosive secret online relationship. That's all I'm going to read from the inside. But I know we go backwards in time and we examine the last year of Hattie's life. So this sounds super interesting. We've got flashback, which I love. We've got some teenage stuff, which I love. And it's, you know, mystery thriller, so I love that too. So this is one that needs to happen this week or another time soon. And then just some random books. So I have a couple on my iPad. So this is one that I normally wouldn't have read, Truly Devious. And I've heard some good things about this. And this is another YA. And I normally was sort of like, meh, you know, I kind of kept seeing it everywhere, but didn't think too much about it. And then I saw Peter Loves Books did a review on this, and he had great things to say about it. And I mean, if you guys haven't checked out Peter's channel, you have to. I will link him down below. He is such a ball of fun and high energy. And I mean, if you ever like need a pick-me-up or like want to just get excited about reading or excited about books, his channel is great. He does like vlogs and reviews and like all sorts of great stuff. But he was saying some great things about this book. So I'm gonna check it out. It's also available on audio on Hoopla, so that is always helpful for a readathon. And this is boarding school, which is a trope that I love. And then we have like a murder that happened in the past. So I wanna say like the headmaster's wife and daughter were kidnapped, and like notes were left behind and they're signed Truly Devious. And the case was never solved. And I don't know if this is like 50 years ago or something like that. And then in present day, this girl, Stevie, I want to say her name is, comes to the school and she fancies herself a detective and she's going to solve this cold case. So she starts to dig into it, and then Truly Devious is sort of back in the picture. So I think like notes start showing up again, and the Truly Devious signature starts showing up again. So what's happening? And this is the first in a trilogy. So I know the second book is for sure out. I don't know if the third book has come out yet, but like I said, I'm curious. So gonna maybe possibly give this one a go. And then I also have The Broken Girls by Simone St. James on my iPad. And I've heard nothing but insanely great things about this book. And I picked this up for like $2 in one of those insane ebook deals that I got a little while ago. And this is about sort of like a boarding school, but it's a place for girls where they get sent in Vermont. And it's got dual timelines, so it's like 1950 and 2014. And it's sort of like girls with problems, girls who don't behave, get sent to this school. And then in present day, 2014, this girl, I think she's a journalist, and her sister was found murdered near this school years earlier, and the girl's boyfriend was arrested and sent to jail for doing it. But the sister doesn't think that he had anything to do with it, and she winds up writing a story about it and sort of investigating it. And I think dark secrets. I don't know if it's haunted per se. I don't know if this has got like haunty elements or if it's just like a creep fest of a place. So I'm not quite sure, but I hear nothing but fabulousness about it. And then a book that does have, I think, like paranormal, ghosty type of things is Lexi Elliot's latest book. I literally just bought this. The Missing Years. Sorry. So this is a girl who inherits a house in Scotland, super remote, no one around, and her dad also partially inherits it, but she hasn't been there for years, and I think they have a fractured relationship. She winds up going back to the house after she inherits it, and then all sorts of crazy things start happening, including the fact that like the animals won't even come near the house. So something's living there, and something I think is going to wreak some havoc on them. This is another book that Lala gave huge kudos to. I did read The French Girl by Lexi Elliot when it first came out, and I enjoyed it. So I'm excited to dive into another one of her books. So for my super random book that basically I couldn't even tell you that I own is The Vanishing season. And vanishing is kind of like a creepy-ish word. It's by Joanna Schaffenhausen. Hope I'm saying that right. This was 100% a completely random book outlet purchase. It won the first crime novel award winner of the Mystery Writers of America. So like boom, boom, bang, that's gotta be good. And this is, she's a police detective. Her name's Ellery. It's set in Woodbury, Massachusetts, which I'm guessing is a Boston suburb. I'm just looking to see when it came out. And she basically like, it's kind of like a sleepy town and not too much happens there, but 2017. But she knows a little bit about serial killers because I believe she was kidnapped by one and rescued by an FBI agent when she was younger. And now girls start getting murdered and she starts to wonder if it has something to do with her. People disappear from her town all around her birthday. So I don't know what it all means. She winds up reaching out to her FBI agent friend who saved her from a killer all those years ago. He's got a whole bag of baggage. Since that all happened, his marriage fell apart, life just ain't good for him. And rescuing Ellery was his triumph. So it sounds like they get back together again, sucked into the past, back to the case that made them with a killer who can't let go. So it says that readers will be gripped from the first page to the stunning conclusion. Yeah, I don't know why I haven't read this one. It's not very big, so that's always a good thing for a readathon. I love anything Massachusetts-y. I love police procedurals. Give me a little serial killer and I'm down for it. So I may very well dip a toe in this book and give it a try and let you guys know what I think. But let me know if anybody's read this one, because again, I've never heard of this author before or this book before, so this was totally random. Then, my last book that I may or may not read, that's also supposed to have the best super creep vibes out there, sort of, maybe, is The Whisper Man, which is another book that I've talked a ton about already because I was obsessing about it, and basically the Whisper Man would lure people out of their houses at night by whispering their names, and then he would get them. And he's a real person. This is not like a paranormal. And supposedly he's in jail, but all these years later, it seems like he's doing it again. And people thought he had a protege, and it seems like he did, because Whispery Man havoc is getting wreaked again on this small little town in the South, I believe. So I'm excited for this, because again, I've heard great things about it, and I needed to obsessively, compulsively purchase brand new books. So I should probably read them. So that does it for my psychotically long list of books that I maybe, probably, hopefully will read a few of for Spookathon this year. you never know which way the wind's gonna blow with me, or I might pick one of them up before Spookathon even starts because I'm filming this a few weeks in advance. So we're all just gonna be surprised together. But let me know if you guys are participating in Spookathon, what books you're reading, if you've read any of the books that I mentioned, and if you would recommend I try to prioritize some of them over any of the others. But I'm excited. I need more hours in the day. I need more days in the year. I need longer weekends. I need a lot of things to accomplish all the reading I want to accomplish. And it's just, the struggle is real. You guys know it. And I don't know how to read faster. I don't know how people, I'm in awe of people who can read like a book a day or like do 7 books in the readathon. Like I'm not that fast. I also get distracted by other things, but I'm excited for the readathon. Of course, October is just a perfect month for all things dark and creepy, so I never need an excuse, you guys know, to read a thriller, but I'm going to, of course, use this as an excuse to read a bunch. So, all that said and done, thank you guys for watching today and hanging out, and let me know what you're reading, let me know what's going on with you, and I will see you next time around. Bye, guys.